Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And for this class, I'm going to conduct an asynchronous class, which is I pre-recorded this video for you to watch later during the class times or before our next class. Okay, in this discussion, I'm going to talk about personality, which is the third topics of in our course information. Okay, and as an overview, okay, what we're going to discuss in this video is basically how personality relates to adjustment and adaptation. Okay, that is the most important goals of this subject. Okay, and before we discuss further on the personality concepts that are related in adjustment, we are going to introduce to you what is personality all about, the definition of personality, and some background of personality theory. And we look at the importance of personality and adjustment, and as well as the background of theories of personality. There are many theories, but we have selected six theories which are highly related that you need to understand, and we focus to two of the theories which allow us to understand a type of personality and traits of personality. And the most important discussion would be on the personality factors of adjustment. Okay, they are locus of control, self-efficacy, self-monitoring, attribution, and coping style. These are personality factors that we feel that very important for students, for individuals to have in order for them to be able to adapt, to adjust to a new environment, new situation, or meeting new people. And lastly, we're going to talk about personality measures. How can we understand ourselves further? How can we understand personality of other people further? Okay, so next, so what is personality? Okay, by definitions, personality is a relatively stable set of characteristics that influences an individual's behavior. Okay, this is a unique pattern of psychological and behavioral characteristic by which each person can be distinguished from other people. Okay, it's simple. Okay, I give the example here. Say for example, people ask you about your best friend. Okay, how do you describe your best friend? You might be using the words such as caring. Okay, say for example, your friend's name Firdaus. So how do you describe Firdaus? Okay, Firdaus is a caring person, a brave person, charismatic, outspoken, visionary, shy, or people person. These characteristics are basically the personality characteristic of Firdaus. So in other words, we have been used the term personality commonly in our daily life, okay? But the definition is basically a stable set of characteristics, okay? A stable set of characteristics that can describe a person which distinguish he or her himself from other people, she or herself from other people. Okay, so that's basically an overview, a definition of personality. So why it is important for us to understand personality in adjustment perspective? Okay, now we are talking about the importance of personality in adapting, in adjusting to new situation, new environment, or meeting new people. Okay, from interactional psychology perspective, our behavior is the function of a continuous multi-directional interaction between person and situation. In other words, our behavior, other people's behavior, is basically the results of the combination of his or her personal characteristic as well as the environment. Okay, look at the two figure, the two circle on your left. Okay, the person, okay, such as skill and abilities, personality, perception, attitudes, values, ethics. These are all personal factors, okay, and these factors affects one's behavior, affects our behavior, affects your friend behavior, affects your boss behavior, okay, but this only could not result into behavior or action of a person. It must be interacted, okay, it must have influence or be influenced by the environment, okay, the organization that we are working, the groups that we are working with, the jobs, the personal life, the social aspect, the social person of our side. Okay, so the combinations of the environmental factors as well as personal factors will result into a specific behavior. So now let's go further into personality. So theories of personality. So I stated here six theories of personality. Okay, psychoanalytic, humanistic, behavioral, social cognitive, type theory of personality and traits theory of personality. Okay, the first four theories that I mentioned just now is very different from the last two theories. Okay, why? The first four theory explain how people develops, how people learn their personality. Okay, my personality, say for example, I am introvert. Okay, introvert, I'm shy, I am afraid, I prefer to live alone, I don't like to be with people. Okay, I prefer quiet place, I'm not proactive and more passive. Okay, for example, I'm introvert. Okay, so how do I learn this introvert? Okay, how I become to introvert? So these four theories explain how people develop their personality. Okay, first we go to psychoanalytic. Okay, psychoanalytical theory of personality. I think most of us here have heard about Sigmund Freud. Okay, the father of psychoanalysis theory. Okay, so they emphasize on the unconscious determinants of behavior. Okay, so I give you some overview of a psychoanalytic school of thought. Okay, Sigmund Freud, they believe that our personality consists of three things: id, ego, and superego. Okay, and these are basically inside our mind. Okay, inside our mind, unconscious mind. So why we behave in certain way? Because there are conflict between id, ego, and superego. Okay, so how our unconscious mind develops? Okay, it basically develops during our childhood when we are growing up. So all the events that are happening during your childhood influencing your unconscious mind, and your unconscious mind influence your current behavior. Say for example, you are afraid of height. Okay, takut tinggi. Okay, you're afraid of heights. Okay, so your current behavior, that when you cannot, for example, use aeroplane. Okay, because you know it's very high. Okay, or you cannot go to the top of the building. Okay, because if you go there, then your knees will shaking. Sometimes you can't even stand or walk. Okay, you are so afraid of height. Okay, so according to psychoanalytic perspective, this phobia of heights is because of your traumatic event that happening in or during your childhood, and those traumatic experience have given you the ideas in your unconscious mind: you cannot or you should not go to any high place. Okay, so it give or it influence your behavior. But why it's called unconscious? Okay, because you don't realize it. Okay, you don't realize it, but it affects your behavior. Okay, that's why it's unconscious determinant of behavior. Somehow, if you have experienced those traumatic events in your childhood, your current behavior is unchangeable. Okay, why? It's already determined by your childhood. We cannot go back and change your childhood. Okay, we don't have the times equipment that we can go back to times. Okay, this is not the story of you can go to the future or go back to your past time. So it's basically determine your current behavior. Okay, in contrast to psychoanalytic school of thought, we have humanistic. Okay, from humanistic perspective, we have the free will to determine our own behavior. Okay, our current behavior. Okay, regardless whether you are coming from you have a good childhood experience, or you have a bad or traumatic childhood experience, you can still determine your own current behavior. Okay, you have the free will. So from humanistic perspective, human play an active role to determine their behavior. Okay, human as a whole. Okay, we have the power. Okay, we have the most important factor, we hold the most important factor for us to behave in any particular ways. Okay, it's basically is in contrast with psychoanalytic perspective. Okay, from behaviorist perspective or behaviorist theory of personality, so how we develop our personality is the result of learning process. Okay, from reinforcement, okay, from classical conditioning and from operant conditioning. Okay, if you have happened to learn or happen to heard about the concepts, so we learn our behavior because we have when we behave in that way previously, people reward us. Okay, say for example, you want to teach manners. Okay, you want to teach ethics to your younger children. Okay, younger siblings, for example. Okay, So you ask them to say thank you. Okay, so whenever people do some things and do a favor for your siblings, you encourage them. Okay, say thank you. And when your younger brother, when younger sister say thank you, then you reward her or you reward him. Okay, you give them candy, you give them money. Okay, you give them toys, or even you give someone which something that is intangible. Okay, you compliment them. Okay, you say some things that would make them happy. Okay, so this is intangible rewards. So they like that behavior. So for them, they will learn that by saying thank you in the future, they will feel happy. Okay, they will be rewarded. So after sometimes repeating the same behavior, the behavior becomes part of our personality. It's become our habits. Okay, it becomes as natural to us. Whenever people say or people do something to you, you say thank you naturally. Okay, so it's from learning. Okay, you learned the personality during your childhood or during your growing up process. Okay, and the last theory which explain about how we develop our personality is social cognitive theory. Okay, in this last theory also involve learning, but another part that involved which is not in behaviorist perspective is observation. Okay, behavior is the result of the interaction between our thinking and our social context. I believe most of us here have heard or come across a Bandura experiment, a Babadol experiment. Okay, in this experiment, they want to see whether students will learn from observation or children will learn from observation. So they place a group of children, young children below below the age of 6 years old, in one room with see-through mirror. Okay, mirror that we can see the other side, but the other side cannot see us. Okay, so in this experiment, they put on adults, okay, in the rooms, and the adults were instructed to hit the baba doll. Okay, hit the balloon. Okay, hit. Okay, show aggression. Okay, so they want to see whether the children would imitate. Okay, would behave the same way. So after that, they place they bring the children into the rooms and they observe what would the children do, and most of the children repeat or do the same behavior that the adults have done. Okay, so basically here we learn our behavior from observation. Okay, from observation. Okay, so it also involves learning, but the process is that involve observation. Okay, so these four theories explained that our behavior or our personality from psychoanalytic perspective because of our childhood trauma or childhood experience. If you're humanistic, basically because we want to do it. Okay, because of our personal factors, because of our environmental factors. From behaviorist perspective, we learn our personality through operant or classical conditioning, through learning process. Okay, through rewards. Okay, when people compliment our behavior, for example. Okay, like social cognitive, we learn our behavior through observation. Okay, so these are the four theories that explain how we develop personality. The other two theories, type theory of personality and traits theory of personality, they discuss personality in more different perspective, another perspective. Okay, they, instead of explaining how we develop our personality, they explain what is the personality, what are the characteristics of personality, what are the qualities of personality. Okay, so type theory explained in a types, in a bigger concepts, in a bigger groups. Okay, while trait theory they look at more detail. So we look at types theory and trait theory of personality. I hope you can understand the the slides because there are a lot of information in there. Okay, so in order for us to understand personality types, personality traits, we also need to understand one more concept, which is personality states. Okay, type theory of personality is basically the classic theory, one of the few, I think one of the most, the original theory explained or introduced in personality. Okay, one of the classic theory of personality. So in this theory, type theory of personality, they categorize human behavior into several general categories. In other words, they group, okay, they group our behavior into certain types or they typify. Okay, they put a types, or they name a type, they categorize our behavior into certain types. I believe we heard about introvert, extroverts. Okay, that has been used before, the types of personality, and they are type A and type B. Okay, they are melancholics, okay, chloric, for example. So those are also theories of type of personality that have been used before. Okay, so but in order for us to have a personality types, okay, there must be numbers of characteristics. Okay, and if this characteristic is dispositional means that a relatively stable characteristic of a type. Okay, that is traits. Okay, trait theory of personality, we try to understand individuals by breaking down behavioral patterns into observable traits. Okay, say for example, extrovert. Okay, I put example here. Personality type is extrovert, and for extrovert person, they have at least 5 traits. Okay, and these are the traits. Okay, these are the characteristics that demonstrated that extrovert people have. Okay, for example, adventurous people who are extrovert, they are adventurous. Okay, they like to try new things, they like to meet new people, they like to go to new places. Okay, they are adventurous, they are expressive, they are not quiet, they are not shy, they are very active in conversation, they are very active in social events. Okay, so they are expressive, they prefer to work in group. People who are extroverts, they are positive and they are opportunists. Okay, for example. Okay, so these are the traits of extrovert. So if you look at in this way, so for personality types to for us to understand a personality type, we need to understand that under that personality types, there are many traits. Okay, there are many traits in there. Okay, trait can be thought of as a relative stable characteristic that causes individuals to behave in a certain way. Okay, so why I mention also personality states, because people can easily get confused between personality states and personality traits. Okay, say for example, we don't have online class, we have physical class. Okay, in a class, and then I see Ain, for example, and I see Ain as someone who is shy. Okay, when I ask Ain to speak in front of class, she has problems. She's very shy, she cannot say words, she cannot speak words. Okay, she cannot ask questions because she's very shy. Okay, but shy here is basically the states, the behavior out of traits. Cool? The traits is being introvert is types. The traits is being passive, for example. The traits is being shyness. Okay, the behavior of shy, what is we can see is something that is manifestation of her traits. Okay, say for example, angry. Okay, angry, you see someone who are aggressively hitting his car, for example, because the car is broken down, or aggressively or speaking aloud or being scolding the cars. Okay, the behavior of angry people. Okay, but the traits of angry is aggressive. Okay, it's not angry. Angry is basically the state, what is manifested in the behavior. Okay, so the state is, personality state is temporary emotional and psychological state of a person in a given situation or surrounding. So why I emphasize on explaining personality states to you? Okay, because people can behave in or can have a personality state that are against his or her traits. Okay, for example, we say that people who are talkative, okay, who are talkative, the trait is talkative, but you see, you meet him or you meet her, and then she suddenly don't speak. Okay, don't speak. So basically, she behave in certain way that against the traits. It can happen given a situation, given the environment. It can happen that they behave not in accordance to their traits because of reason. Okay, could be many reasons, could be one reason. Okay, they don't behave that way. So say for example, people who are emotional. Okay, people who are emotional compared to people who are strong personality. Okay, who are not going to show emotion. But people who are strong personality can also cry. okay, can also cry. I also cry, okay, even though I don't have a strong personality. Okay, so even people with strong personality who don't show emotion can also cry, even though crying is not characteristic of strong people. Okay, strong character. Okay, so here the states of crying could also involve people who don't have that traits. So don't judge people from the states. In order for us to understand the personality, we have to look at least the traits. Okay, so we cannot judge by meeting someone one times. We cannot know his or her personality. So the idea that people meet psychologists, for example, oh bahaya, okay, oh don't talk to him, he can read your mind. Okay, there is not psychologist. Okay, psychologists systematically understanding or studying or investigating human behavior. Okay, so those are the relationships between personality types, personality traits, and personality states. And we don't have a state theory. Okay, so at the beginnings of the development of personality as a field, we or scholars at that particular times use personality types. Okay, and now the most recent developments are people are looking more at traits. So why people looking at traits instead of types? Okay, because it happen a lot of the times, people who have extrovert personality types, they also have traits which is inconsistent with their personality type. Okay, I give you an example. I put here adventurous, expressives, and prefer positive and opportunist. Okay, however, it could be that I'm extrovert, but I don't like to work in group. I like to work alone. For example, you are extrovert, but you don't like to work in group. You like to work independently. Okay, you like to work individually. Okay, say for example you are introvert, you are not supposed to prefer to work in group. You prefer to supposedly people who have introvert personality type, they don't like to work in group, they like to work alone, independently. But you are introvert, but you like to work in group. Okay, so it's happened. Okay, it's happened. That is one of the reasons why nowadays personality psychologists don't really pay or use the theory of personality types. They follow personality traits theory. Okay, so what are the example of personality types theory? Okay, there are actually many approaches, like I mentioned before: extrovert, introvert, type A, type B. Okay, originally personality types scholars or psychologists have divided our personality types according to our temperament. Okay, according to our temperament. So there are 4 personality types. The first one is sanguine, the second one is phlegmatic, the third one is melancholic, and the fourth one is choleric. Okay, so people who have a personality type of sanguine, they are optimistic. Okay, they are optimistic, they look forward. Okay, they are very positive. For people who have phlegmatic types of personality, they are slow and lethargic, they relax, it is slow. Okay, and the third one, people with melancholic personality types, they are the one who are always sad and depressed, always look at the negativity, always feel sad, feel frustrated, and always in the moody types of feeling. Sorry. Okay, and then the last one is choleric. Choleric is usually associated with people who have personality types who are always angry. Okay, they are always in the mood of anger. Okay, so that is basically one of the most classic personality types that being described by psychologists before, like I mentioned before the developments of personality traits theory. Okay, another example of personality types is based on body types. Okay, based on body types. Okay, the first one is endomorph. Endomorph refers to people who have personality that are heavy, the physical are heavy, and but in terms of personality they are easygoing. Okay, they are easygoing. The second types of personality is mesomorph, people who are muscular, okay, but also at the same time are aggressive, muscular and aggressive. And the third type is ectomorph, thin, intellectual, and artistic. And obviously a lot of people want to be considered as the third types of personality according to body types, which are they are thin, okay, they are not fat like me, okay, they are intellectual, and they are artistic. Okay, towards the new developments in personality types, we see that psychologists are already divided into two types of personality, which, like I mentioned before, type A and type B. Excuse me. Okay, for type A personality types, people who have this kind of personality, they are in hurry, they are impatient, they fast, okay, they are a bit sensitive, okay, but they proactive, short-tempered, but they are also multitasker. They can do a lot of things at the same time. On the other hand, people who have type B personality are usually in contrast with type A personality people, okay, such as they are a bit relaxed, easygoing, reflective, creative, and even-tempered. Okay, like I mentioned before, when psychologists started to give more research, to start look more, investigate more towards personality type, they found that there are people who have different traits. Even though majority of other traits fall under one category, there are a couple of traits which belong to them are not fall in the same category, which is the personality traits. Okay. And one of the most common, even still exists in the personality traits theory, are extrovert versus introvert. Okay, people who are extrovert or introvert. Okay, people who can, like we mentioned in the previous example, people who are extroverts, they prefers to be in a group. Okay, they prefers social context. They prefers to be with other people. Okay, and then they are a bit talkative, expressive. They like to be in the center of attention. Okay, they like to be in a group whereby they can attract attention to them. Okay, they can mingle around with others. Okay, on the other hand, people who have the personality types of introvert, okay, they prefers to be alone. Okay, they sometimes shy and prefers calm and quiet environment, and they are a bit secretive. Okay, these are the examples of personality types based on the types theory of personality. Okay, next we look at the most current development in personality research, especially on understanding people's or individual personality, which is the examples of trait theory of personality. Okay, before we move towards the current development, such as the Big Five, Neo FFI, for examples, we revisit some of the historical developments of personality theories. Okay, like I mentioned before, okay, at the first place, researchers, scholars, personality psychologists, they look at personality types. However, when they found that there are people who have traits, who have different characteristics from their personality types, they started to look more into it. Okay, it started from Alport. Okay, Alport conducted lexical study. Okay, lexical study is usually based on language, whereby Alport investigate or observe or identify adjectives in English dictionary. Okay, adjective in English dictionary which are describing individual or person characteristic. Okay, what Alport found? He found that there are more than 4,000 adjectives explaining our behavior. Okay, adjectives such as diligent, hardworking, shy, competitive. Those are all examples of personality adjective. Okay, or adjective explaining about individual characteristic. Okay, however, 4,000 is too much. Okay, it's too much. Okay, so what the development after that is Kettle take all of these more than 4,000 adjectives and he deduce it. Okay, he bring about 171 personality traits. All of those adjective that looks like similar or refer to the same things are omitted, and at the end of the day, Kettle found 171 personality traits. So what Kettle did, basically, he conducted a research for all of these 171 personality traits, and he ran factor analysis, a statistical procedure to reduce the factor in all of the items that are being investigated, and he found that there are 16 key personality traits, and according to Kettle, these 16 are the source of human personality. But for researchers, 16 are still too much. Okay, and then more developments, more research conducted, more factor analysis conducted, and then now we have five personality traits we call big five personality traits, the one that I presented to you in my bag, okay, or in your notes. Okay, so these are the five currently or most acceptable or most referred to personality traits that describe our personality. Okay, personality trait, these are based on traits theory. Okay, what are those? First is openness, second is conscientiousness, third extraversion or extroversion, fourth agreeableness, and fifth neuroticism. Okay, before we move towards look further into all of these five traits, I would like to stress the importance here. Okay, first of all, it's not like personality types. Okay, personality types, if you are type A person, you are not going to be type B person. Okay, if you are extrovert persons, you're not going to be, or you don't have the characteristic of introvert person. So those are from personality type theory. Okay, from personality traits, basically all of human beings have these five traits, but they are different degrees or different levels of traits. Okay, for example, I have high openness. Okay, it doesn't mean that I don't have conscientiousness. It's just that maybe conscientiousness, my conscientiousness traits are on the moderate level or at the lower level. Okay, some traits are higher, some traits are lower. Okay, so what is openness? Okay, people who have openness traits usually, when we describe openness, we focus on imaginative and insights ability. Okay, people who are high in openness, they tend to have a broad range of interests. Okay, they are interested to a lot of things. Okay, they are curious about the world and other people, and they eager to learn new things, and they enjoy new experience. Okay, a bit similar like extrovert. Okay, people who are high in these traits tend to be more adventurous, and they are usually creative because they explore a lot of things. Okay, people who are low in these traits, on the other hand, are often much more traditional, okay, and may struggle with abstract thinking. Okay, so that's people who have high openness. So I wish that I have a high traits of openness. Okay, okay, the second trait is conscientiousness. Okay, conscientiousness involves high levels of thoughtfulness, good impulse control, like they can control their anger, and a goal-directed behavior. Okay, they don't mingle around doing nothing or don't do any productive. They usually are very plan and do things that to achieve certain performance target. People who are highly in high conscientious traits, they tend to be organized, and they are mindful of details. Okay, maybe you can say perfectionist. Okay, they pay attention to every minute details. Okay, they plan ahead, think about their own behavior and the effects of their behavior to other people and towards other environment. They usually mindful about the deadlines. So I hope, okay, I hope you guys are very mindful with your deadlines, okay, with regards to your assignment, especially your assignment. Okay, the third trait, extraversion, or some people call it extroversion. Okay, for extraversion, they pay attention on the excitability, sociability, talkativeness, assertiveness, and high amounts of emotional expressiveness. Okay, expression. Okay, so people who are high in extraversion are usually outgoing, okay, and tend to gain energy in social situation. Being around other people helps them to feel energized and excited. These are people who always like or love to be in social situation. They don't like to be alone. Okay, people who are low in extraversion, or in other words are introvert, tend to be more reserved, have less energy to expand in social settings. Social events can feel draining, and introverts often require a period of solitude and quiet in order to recharge. Okay, people who are introverts, when they join social events, okay, be in social settings, they really drain their energy. They feel tired, they feel a lot of things are happening around them, so they prefer to be in a quiet environments, in a calm situation, so they may recharge. Okay, extraversion. Okay, the fourth traits are agreeableness. Okay, agreeableness deals with trust, altruism, kindness, affection, and other pro-social behavior. What is pro-social behavior? Behavior of helping others. Okay, so people who are high in agreeableness tend to be more cooperative, while those who are low in agreeableness tend to be more competitive and sometimes manipulative. So I hope people are high in agreeableness. Okay, what I don't hope is people high in neuroticism. Okay, what is neuroticism? Neuroticism deals with the traits of sadness, moodiness, and emotional instability. Okay, individuals who are high in neuroticism, they tend to experience mood swings, anxiety, irritability, and sadness. And those who are low in neuroticism, they tend to be more stable and emotionally resilient. Okay, like I said before, it's not like personality types, whereby if you are openness, you are not conscientiousness. If you are extraversion, you are not neuroticism. Okay, most people have all 5 traits. It's just that the degrees of the traits, the level of the trait is different. Some people have high openness, high agreeableness, but low neuroticism, neuroconscientiousness, and low extraversion. On the other hand, some people have a very high neuroticism traits and high in extraversion traits, but low in openness, low in conscientiousness, low in agreeableness. Okay, so most of people have these different, all of these 5 traits, but with different degrees. Okay, these are the examples of traits theory of personality. Okay, so next, okay, the most important part that I mentioned in the early video. Okay, we want to know what are the personality factors that are very important for you, for me, for everyone, in order for us to be able to successfully adjust and adapt to new situation, new environment, or meeting new people. Okay, so these are the 5 among the 5 most important factors, most important personality factors, which are: first, locus of control; second, self-efficacy; third, self-monitoring; fourth, attribution; and fifth, coping styles. Okay, we look at one by one. So locus of control. So what is locus of control? Okay, locus of control is a belief. Remember, is a belief about whether the outcomes of our action are contingent on what we do or on events outside of our personal control. Okay, in other words, locus of control is the extent to which we feel that we have control over the events that influence our life. Okay, so basically, based on the definition, there are 2 types of locus of control: external locus of control, internal locus of control. What is external locus of control? Say, for example, if you believe that you have no control over what happens and that external variables are to blame. Okay, so you are basically using external locus of control. Okay, people and circumstances control your fate. Okay, on the other hand, if you believe that you have control over what happens, okay, is basically you are using internal locus of control. Okay, I control, as the examples of statement that people who have internal locus of control, I control what happens to me. Okay, say for example, you don't feel like you are currently successful. Okay, maybe in your SPM, your target is basically you want to go to study degrees from international university, going overseas. Okay, and then it's happened that you don't perform that well in your SPM, and then you join matriculation, and then during matriculation as well you don't perform well. So you end up taking subjects currently which is not your first choice, not your true interest, not your true ambition. Okay, so your failure of doing that, if you blame that on yourself, is basically you are using internal locus of control, because you are not hardworking enough, you are not diligent enough, or you don't pay attention in class, you don't make enough revisions. Okay, it's all about yourself, centered about yourself. Those are basically example of internal locus of control. Okay, on the other hand, say for example you have friends who are not successful, but they attribute the blames to external factors, not because of me. Okay, because teachers don't like me, lecturers don't like me, or my friends don't like me, or questions are too difficult, or during the exams I couldn't focus because my car was broken, or maybe during exam you don't have car yet. Okay, maybe because it's too cold in the exam hall. Okay, it's a lot of other external factors. So those are the example of external locus of control. Okay, next, self-efficacy. Okay, usually when they talk about self-efficacy, they also talk about self-esteem, but we already discussed about self-esteem in last class. Okay, you are lucky because this is pre-recorded, otherwise I'm going to ask you. Okay, okay, I can lie but I'm alone. Oh no. Okay, self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is the beliefs and expectation about one's ability to accomplish a specific task effectively. Okay, our own beliefs that we can do tasks, we can perform tasks that being assigned to us effectively. Okay, that's why I mentioned just now, when people talk about self-efficacy, they usually talk about self-esteem. Why? Okay, you are lucky again because this is pre-recorded. Okay, okay, why? Because when we talk about self-esteem, usually we talk about confidence. Okay, people who have high self-esteem, they also have high confidence. Okay, this is about also reflected in confidence. You confident in your own ability. Okay, source of self-efficacy. So how we develop self-efficacy, okay, is from prior experiences and prior success. Okay, say for example you are best student in your school, in your primary school. Okay, previously we have UPSR. Okay, you are best students. Okay, this experience enhance your self-efficacy, enhance your confidence. Okay, prior experience, when you do things, you are basically better than all others, you are the best. Okay, it's enhance your self-efficacy. Okay, it's also from behavioral models. Okay, observing success. Okay, when you see your brother, for example, your older brother, when he performs, then he do better. When he do better, he receive a lot of compliments, people respect him. Okay, in his social setting, among his friends, his friend look after him. Okay, look towards him. Okay, admire him. Okay, from the observation. And through persuasion. Okay, through persuasion, your teachers, your friends, your parents, your sibling telling you, you are good. Okay, you are very good. Okay, you can do that. Okay, you are able to do that, you have the ability to do that, and you are being persuaded to believe that you can do it. Okay, it's all about the beliefs and expectation about our own ability. And lastly, assessment of current physical and emotional capabilities. Okay, when you see things, when I give you assignment, this is the assignment. Okay, some of your friends think it's very difficult, you cannot do it, but you see that you read the task. Okay, and you assess, I can do this. Okay, I can understand this, I can see how I can do it. So based on your assessment of physical and emotional capabilities, you can enhance your self-efficacy. So next, the third one, self-monitoring. Okay, behavior based on cues from people and situation. Okay, self-monitoring is a personality trait. Okay, remember the first two are the belief. Okay, this is personality traits. Okay, sometimes we may have it, sometimes we don't have it. Okay, but I don't believe in determinants theory, such as psychoanalytic, that you cannot develop it. You might have a low personality trait of self-monitoring right now, but when you know that you are low with, you can train. Okay, over a long period you can develop, so you can enhance your self-monitoring trait. So what is self-monitoring? Okay, it involves the ability to monitor
and regulates self-presentation, self-emotion, and behaviors in response to social environments and situations. Okay, it's basically the key traits for you to adjust and adapt in new situation and new environment. Okay, because you have the ability to monitor and regulate your presentation, not like me. I don't talk, okay, I didn't read code today. Okay, for example, okay, and regulate your emotion. You don't feel excessive sadness. You sad, but you can control your sadness. Okay, you can still think mindfully. You can think. You can still make a good decision when you are in sorrow, when you are frustrated, when you sad, when you angry. Why? Because you have the ability to monitor and regulate your emotion. And at the end of the day, you can monitor your behavior. You know that it's not an acceptable behavior not to attend classes, okay, not to make revision after classes. Okay, you can monitor your behavior, you can regulate your behavior. Okay, and self-monitoring traits involve being aware of our own behavior and the impacts of this awareness and this behavior, our behavior, on our environment. Okay, our surrounding. So we are aware. And the problem is if you are not aware, in other words, you have low self-monitoring traits. Okay, self-monitoring trait also refers to our ability to modify our behavior in response to environmental, situational, and social variables. In a situation, we can behave, we can go and adapt to the situation, we can change our behavior, we can modify our behavior. Okay, we go to a new situation, we can behave properly. We go to a social event, we can behave properly. Okay, why? Because we have the ability to modify our behavior. People who have high self-monitoring traits, they are more likely to change their behavior in order to adapt or conform to the situation, like mentioned just now. Okay, those who are low in self-monitoring tend to behave in accordance with their own internal needs and feelings. These are the people who don't care about others, don't care about the situation, don't care about the environment. You go and you just think about yourself, you don't think about others. You just do for your own personal interest only. Okay. Next, attribution. Okay, so what is attribution? By definition, attribution is the process of inferring the causes or events or behavior. Okay, how we attribute our success. Okay, how we attribute our failure. How we attribute our problems. Okay, how we attribute our happiness. Okay, so the importance of attribution is the attribution you make each and every day has an important influence on your feelings as well as how you think and relate to other people. Okay, so the attributions, okay, when you attribute your success to yourself, okay, you are successful because of your own ability. You are successful because of your own commitment. You are successful because of your own hard working, your own efforts. Okay, so it will influence your feelings and how you see others and have relationship with others. Okay, if you attribute your failure towards other people, to external factors, it also will influence your own feelings. Okay, so attribution in general have two types. Okay, internal attribution and external attribution. So internal attribution are those who blame on individual characteristic and traits. Okay, external attribution are those that are blamed on situational forces. Okay, for example, you are a very successful person because of yourself. Okay, because of your ability, because of your attitudes, because of your efforts, okay, because of your own hard working. So you are basically using internal attribution. Okay, you attribute everything in internal factors, for internal factors. Okay, on the other hand, people who blame others. Okay, I didn't get an A in psychology adjustment because the black guy is very strict, okay, because of the fat guy is very give a very difficult questions, okay, or don't explain properly, or because that during the exams I couldn't answer properly because the situation is so cold. I have a weak internet connection, for example, during the assessment. This is online, okay. So when you attribute blames to external factors, it's basically external attribution. You attribute the cause of the problems to external sources, okay, to external factors, okay. Those are attribution. Okay, for attributions, people usually commit bias, and sometimes we commit errors, and most of the times we don't realize it. Okay, that's the problem, because most of the time we don't realize that we are actually doing something wrong. It's an error of attribution, or we doing something bias, okay, bias of attribution. So here I listed three, okay, three most common attribution bias and errors, okay, biases and errors, okay. So the first one is the actor observer bias, the second one is the fundamental attribution error, and the third one is self-serving bias. Okay, what is the actor observer bias? Okay, when it comes to explaining our own behavior, we are more likely to blame external forces than our own personal characteristic. Okay, say for example, you are not able to attend class today. Okay, you are not able to attend class today. You don't blame yourself because you sleep late last night watching football. You don't blame yourself because you're sorry, excuse me, because you watching Korean drama. Okay, you don't blame yourself because you are on phone for 4 hours with your boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay, it's an example. It's not about you. It's from somewhere else. Okay, somewhere else. Okay, so when you attribute your failure to external factors, oh, because my alarm phones is not ringing, or because your friends do not wake you up, or because of the toilet, too many people in the toilet. Okay, if you are staying in hostel, okay, usually during the mornings and during the afternoons, they are very peak times, okay, to use the toilets, washroom and etc. Okay, so the actor observer bias, when to explain our own behavior, we blame others, we blame external factors. Okay, the fundamental attribution error. Okay, when it comes to other people, okay, it's contrast. These are about the actor observer bias about our own problems. Okay, now about other people problems. Okay, we tend to attribute causes to internal factors such as personal characteristics and ignore or minimize external variables. Okay, now your friends fail to come to class, but today you come to class, fail to come to class. Oh, it's not because of the toilet, no, not because of the bus, no, not because of the problem with the motorcycles or cars, no, because he is lazy. Okay, because he didn't manage his time properly. Okay, because he slept late. Okay, because he don't really manage his time, so he failed to attend class today. Okay, when about people, we attribute the cause into his or her personal characteristics, not about the external factor. Okay, fundamental attribution error. And the third one is self-serving bias. Okay, the tendency to attribute success to internal factors and failure to external factors. Okay, okay, it's very interesting. It's basically more or less related to both two. However, when about success things, when about excellence, when about good things, it's because of you. Okay, when it's about bad things, problems and failure, because of external factors, it's not about you. Okay, so that's the simple words. Okay, that is self-serving bias. Attribution is one of the main important things when we want to adapt to the new world. Okay, to new situation, new environments. Okay, so don't attribute things to external factor that you cannot control. Okay, try to look it, and remember at the beginning we talked about objective and subjective interpretation of situations. So look at the objective situation, okay, and then evaluate your feeling, okay, your subjective experience. Okay, and lastly about coping styles. Okay, last about the factors. We have another subtopic. Okay, remember about the personality measures. Okay, coping style. So coping usually, I think at this particular moment, okay, especially during this PKP, people start aware, or people are more aware of mental health. Okay, you may come to hear or read something about on coping. Okay, coping does not only involve about stress or mental health. Coping also involve in daily routine, in normal situation. Okay, you are given tasks. Okay, I give you assignments. Okay, I give you a pop assignment. Okay, not pop quiz, a pop assignment. I give you assignment, I want it tonight. Okay, it creates a stressful situation. It creates a stressful feelings. It gives you pressure. Okay, pressure, your feelings in your mind. Okay, it's also involve coping. So what is coping? Coping is the manner, the methods in which we deal with stressful event or stressful situation. And sometimes it could be big, sometimes it could be very simple. Okay, very simple. Okay, say for example, your friends call you today. Could you please help pick me up today at 4? Okay, you actually have a lot of assignment. Okay, you have assignment, remember to submit tonight. Okay, so for you it's quite a stressful event, because you know if you go there you're going to maybe waste maybe 1 or 2 hours of your time, while you still have a lot of things to do now, to do today. Okay, you need to submit Brother Black's assignment tonight. Okay, for example, just example. Okay, it's create a stressful situation. So how you cope with that? Okay, how you cope with that? So from psychological perspective, psychologists has stated 3 types. Okay, 3 styles of coping. Okay, one is avoidance, second is problem focus, and third is emotion focus. Okay, what is avoidance? I hope you don't do this. Okay, people sometimes when they face a stressful event, they just avoid. Okay, they taking or they don't take any action, or they take action or do activities to avoid the stressful situation. Okay, I know some of you do it. Okay, you have assignment, you have a lot of assignments, it's very stressful, it's end up you don't know what to do. Okay, you have Brother Black assignments, you have lab tasks, you have lab reports, and then you have etika and peradaban assignments all these weeks. Okay, it feels stressful. Okay, a lot of assignments to do. So what you do? Let's forget about that and we go and eat KFC, McD, ice creams. Okay, so you avoid thinking about the problems. Okay, so or you basically, oh, I'm so stressed right now, I go and sleep, nothing to do. Okay, go and sleep. Or you have too many things to do, I need to relax. Okay, I need to calm myself down, I need to center or to strategize my thinking. So what you do? Watch Korean drama. Okay, so just an example. Okay, it's not related to you, you are a very good student. Okay, that is the first types of coping. Okay, don't do that. Okay, the second is problem focus. So how do you handle the stress is by facing the problems heads on and taking actions to resolve the underlying cause. You are very stressed. Okay, a lot of assignments, but you need to do it. Okay, even though you are very stressful, even though that you are not enjoying the emotion at that particular times, but you list out, okay, I have this assignment. Okay, psychology adjustment submitted tonight. Okay, etika and peradaban submitted when? Submitted on Wednesday. And then I have lab report when to submit on Thursday. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do psychology adjustment first. Okay, or I'm not going to psychology adjustment because this guy is so what? Okay. Okay, emotion focus, the third one. Okay, emotion focus, it involves regulating your feelings and emotional response to the problem instead of addressing the problem. Okay, say for example, you are very sad. Okay, you get so low mark. Okay, you get so low mark. Okay, the problem is basically the task is so difficult. So instead of go and make revision, you try to calm yourself. Okay, you regulate your feelings. It's okay, you still have second chance. This is only the first test. Okay, you have second test, and then you have final exams, you have assignment and presentation. You can perform that. Okay, you try to calm yourself. Basically, you try to regulate your negative emotion and turn it into positive emotion. Okay, so sometimes people use both. Okay, emotion focus and problem focus. but make sure you don't use avoidance. Okay, those are the examples of copying, and copying is one of the most important factor for us to deal with your, especially your working life. Okay, your LI, there will be a lot of works. Okay, real life there are a lot of works. I look very happy because I regulate my emotion. I have a lot of works to do as well. Okay, just example. Okay, and lastly, personality measures. Okay, personality measures. Now you know the importance of personality for our, to regulate our behavior. Okay, why we behave in certain way, why we feel so irritated when your boss keep on calling names. Okay, when you feel angry, why you feel angry when your boss point finger at you. Okay, it's you who have to do it. Okay, it's you who cause the problems. Okay, sometimes people don't have problem with the task, but they have the problem with the manner people speak to them. It's involved by personality. So now how can we understand our personality? Oh, you want to understand people personality, you want to know what is my personality. Okay, for example, give us an example. So they are actually there are three types of personality tests that you can use, but I added one more for specific measure of personality factors. I will going to explain one by one. First is self-report questionnaire. Okay, this is most common and the most easy to use. And in fact, if you want to know our own personality, even personality types, okay, personality traits, personality types, we can always use self-report questionnaire. An assessment involving individual responses to question, okay, such as Myers-Briggs type indicator, which have 16 traits. Okay, there are lots of out there, even the one that provided online. Okay, those that you can do yourself. Okay, you can self-evaluate. Okay, another type is projective personality test. Okay, unlike self-report questionnaire, behavioral measures and projective tests, they cannot be performed individually. Okay, or we cannot assess our own self. Okay, in projective tests, the assessor, okay, or the researcher, they will give you ambiguous stimuli to provoke hidden emotions and personal conflict, and just to evaluate and to investigate your personality. Why? Because sometimes we don't even know our personality. Okay, and our personality manifested in terms of traits, or sorry, in terms of states. Okay, our trait is hidden. Okay, because if they want to know about our traits, they have to observe us in a very long period of time. Okay, so in order to do that, they give us provocative objects, image, or situation, just to know our idea, to know about our tendency, to evaluate our personality. Okay, for example, Rorschach, okay, Rorschach ink blot test. I've used that once. Okay, they give you an ink blot, okay, which is have no meanings, have no what we call no objective interpretation or no objective answers. Okay, your answer will be evaluated and your personality will be determined from your answer. Okay, so next is behavioral measures. Okay, behavioral measures involve observation. People observe your behavior. Okay, personality assessment that involve observing an individual's behavior in a controlled situation. Okay, remember about the Babadol? Okay, Bandura Babadol experiments. That's an example of behavioral measures. So they observe you. Okay, I observe you in the class. Okay, how you deal with, how you interact with your friends, how you deal with assignments. Okay, how you conduct yourself in group discussion or in group works, for example. So basically observation, okay, involve the behavioral measure. That's why I said projective tests and behavioral measures cannot be done individually or independently. It's involve other people. Okay, and the last one is specific measures for personality factors. Okay, so remember, we have personality types, we have personality traits. Okay, these are basically the big measures of personality. However, the personality factors that we just discussed, okay, personality factors which are very important for adjustment. Self-esteem we talked about last week. Okay, self-concepts we talked about last week. This week we talk about self-efficacy, locus of control, attribution, coping, self-monitoring. This is personality concepts, but it's not as big as personality traits, not as big as personality types. Okay, we can also use a small scale like this to evaluate. Say for example, I want to evaluate about my self-esteem. Okay, I go and find self-esteem scale which easily can be used, but of course you must be truthful in your answer, otherwise you will not know even your own self-esteem. I know that I have low self-esteem. Okay, so basically they are specific measures for personality factors, and they have been developed or created in self-report questionnaire and available even online nowadays. So if you want to know about your self-monitoring traits, go and search for it and you can answer it yourself. Okay, small scale measures assessing individual personality factors such as coping styles, locus of control, self-efficacy, self-satisfaction. Okay, there are a lot of other personality related tests. Okay, it's not about personality traits. It's not about personality traits or personality types, but personality related measures. Okay, so I've taken even though it's pre-recorded, it's still long. Okay, very sorry. Okay, so that's all for the discussion of today's topic on personality. So this is basically the conclusion, okay, the overview of what we have discussed. Now we have to discuss what I've been talking to you, okay, for the rest of the video. Okay, personality, we talk about the definition of personality, okay, stable characteristic, and then we talk the importance of personality factors and adjustment, okay, why personality involved in the adjustment adaptation process, and we also talked about theories of personality. We actually spoke about 6, but we only focus but more attention should be given to personality types and personality traits, because these help you to categorize and identify your own characteristic values or your personality characteristics, while the other 4 explain on how we develop our personality. And then we talk a lot about personality factors of adjustment, okay, locus of control, self-efficacy, self-monitoring, attribution, and coping style. And then just now we talk about personality measures. We have projective tests, we have self-report, we have behavioral measures, and we have specific personality factors measures. Okay, with that, thank you very much for your times, and if you have any questions, you can chat me or you can address this question in our Telegram group. Thank you and see you next week.